Warning: this podcast may contain graphic violence, sexual themes, and bad language. If our language offends you, we apologize, but we do not give a fuck. Be mindful of your kids listening.
The Evil Never Dies podcast.
Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast, episode 264. I'm Brett, and I'm back with Carl.
Now I'm back,
Carl-
and we have a new look in the studio here.
Yeah, he does. And he's off suspension.
I was never suspended.
Oh, so yeah, you got a new look going there, man. You got all your figures up there now. That's fucking cool looking.
Yeah, then we got a kiss corner back here, if you can see that.
Oh, there's Gene.
Paul's hanging from the skeleton.
That's
I'll take
cool.
pictures and put them on the Facebook page. The
Yeah.
museum's loss is the studio's gain, I would guess, on this one.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, last week was just sort of a crazy week. Originally, you weren't going to make the show, and then I ended up missing the show, mainly because I knew we had our two special guests, so I just had a lot of stuff going on. So, good evil talk last week.
Yeah, I thought so too, but evidently nobody else does.
Well, it only has 2 views on YouTube.
I think that's you and me.
I don't think we've ever had anything with that less of views, so
I know.
maybe they heard I was suspended, and people were protesting.
Maybe. I don't know, but if they listened that long, it should have counted as a view.
Right? I don't know, man.
I don't know either. Oh, well.
Well, we're back to Dracula this week, so we'll get back to normal.
Back to Dracula.
We haven't had a normal week since the Texas Frightmare weekend, I don't think.
Yeah, I know, man. It's been screwy ever since.
Yeah, it's been a pretty screwy times.
You got the con crud, and
I did. I got sick. Yeah.
that's weird that I didn't get sick because
Usually you're the one that gets sick all the time.
and I was with you the whole time. So
Yeah.
somebody must have breathed on you a little harder than me, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but I was sick for 3 weeks almost. I'm just now starting to get over it all finally. I was feeling bad again yesterday. So, but today seems better. I slept a long time today. We did haunted house work.
Yeah,
You can now walk in the haunted house again.
burn a bunch of shit.
Yep.
Would have been done a lot earlier.
But the chainsaw kept breaking.
Piece of shit. I need to get that other one running so we have a backup.
And this is the first week that I'm wearing a hat and Brett is not.
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
Because my hair would be sticking up like Don King if this hat wasn't on. So I put a Moneybags hat on. So thanks to Gene Simmons for the hat.
Because you've still been out burning shit till like 10 minutes ago.
That's true. I had to put another hat. I've had 3 hats on today.
3 hats. Yeah, you had a hat on outside today too, didn't you?
Yeah, I had on my workout hat out burning.
Yeah. And you're drinking tonight and I'm not. Damn.
I'm drinking the 107 proof Goldschlager tonight.
Ooh.
I'm not playing around.
Not playing around.
I should be drinking Gene Simmons Moneybag vodka, I guess, but I'm not.
Have you opened that yet?
No.
Waiting on that special occasion?
I don't know. I'm still mad you didn't go with me on that. You could have met Gene.
Could have met Gene, I know. But again, I was broke.
Anyway, so
As
we're going
usual.
back to our Dracula Hammer series, which we're going to start including non-Dracula or non-Hammer Draculas on the next set. But this week will be the Scars of Dracula. And this movie was released, I believe, the same year that Taste the Blood of Dracula was released.
Yep.
And Jesus host, whatever his name is, Franco's Count Dracula, which was also starring Christopher Lee. 3 Dracula movies in the same year.
Yep.
That would be 1970.
1970.
And this is the sequel to Taste the Blood of Dracula in name only. It's actually was supposed to be a reboot, but at the last minute, they decided that Christopher Lee was all ready to come back. So
Yep.
it became a semi-sequel.
Yep. All right.
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Scars of Dracula, directed by Roy Ward Baker. And I hadn't what else has he done?
He did some of the other Hammer vampire movies in the 70s.
Okay.
I'm gonna look real quick to make sure I get it right. Which ones he
Was
did.
this his first Dracula?
Well, let's look and see. This was his first Dracula movie.
Okay.
But well, it doesn't say what he did. I know he did another one. Let's get to 1970 here. Oh, he did Quartermaster in the Pit, or Quartermass in the Pit. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Which was a big Hammer. He did The Vampire Lovers in 1970 and Scars of Dracula. Then he did Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which was another freaky Hammer film from 1971. And I did The Vault of Horror, which I think was non-Hammer, but it was one of those anthologies. And he also co-directed The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, which would be the final Hammer Dracula movie ever, which will be coming up in our series later. So he's done several vampire movies and several Hammer films.
Which one is this in the series? Is this 6 or 5? The 5th one?
Well, do you want to count it with Christopher Lee or count it in the actual
well, the actual
this would be 6 if you count Brides of Dracula.
Okay. All right.
Which Christopher Lee was dead in.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Screenplay by Anthony Hines. Based on Count Dracula by Bram Stoker. Produced by Ada Young. Cinematography, Maury Grant. Edited by James Needs. Music again by James Bernard. And to me, this score sounded about the same as the last couple.
Totally disagree. I think this score was way better than the last 2 movies. It had a lot more, it sounded more Dracula, I would think, than the last 2, and it wasn't as hidden in the background.
Yeah, every time they showed the bat, it was some.
Oh, don't tell me you're gonna hate on the bat the whole night.
No, I'm not gonna hate on the bat. Production company, of course, is Hammer Film Productions. Distributed by MGM EMI Distributors and in the UK, and Continental Films in the US.
Well, basically, it had no distribution in the US. Yeah. Warner Brothers had pulled out and said they were not going to do this movie. So this is sort of the hidden lost Dracula in my world, because I never even knew this film existed until the modern day, because it was never shown anywhere. Being it's not a Warner Brothers and it's not a Universal, wasn't a Columbia, this one just sort of disappeared from sight for a long time.
Yeah. I think I seen it back in the day, because like I said, we had a theater that would play all the weird shit, all the, the old Madison Theater, and they would play all that.
Well, it did get a US release. It was actually
just not too many screens.
I don't know about, I know it was released with it was one of the Frankenstein movies. I think it was the Horror of Frankenstein. They were
Okay.
double billed
Double
in
build.
some markets, at least.
Okay.
Horror of Frankenstein was a reboot, and Scars of Dracula was supposed to be a reboot. So it sort of makes sense why they were going to release these together, because it was sort of kind of a new beginning. But Christopher Lee decided to come back in this one and actually does more in this movie than he has since the first Hammer Dracula.
Exactly. Yeah, he had a bigger role for sure.
The Hammer was so sure he wasn't going to come back that the artwork originally made, it looked nothing like Christopher Lee, because they thought he was done. So
Yeah,
somewhere along the line, he made that Count Dracula movie with that Jesus Franco as well. So he was all about the Dracula right about now, even though he claimed to hate it.
yeah. All right, it was released on the 8th of November, 1970, just a week after Halloween. Shit.
Yeah.
Running time is 95 minutes, and it's actually one of the longer,
It is longer. Yeah.
some of them ain't even quite 90 minutes, so. Country is the United Kingdom, English language, and it only had a budget of £200,000.
Well,
Which,
from what I heard, it
shit,
might have been less than that they may have actually lied about it. There was what I've seen is that Horror of Dracula and Scars of Dracula had about £100,000 budget. So I don't
really.
know. Hammer, I don't know why Hammer would have lied about it, but that's what a lot of the film historians are saying.
Huh. Okay. All right, Carl, why don't you go over the plot of this one?
Okay, as I said earlier, this was supposed to be a reboot. So they sort of wrote a resurrection scene that probably wasn't originally in the movie until Christopher Lee came back. If you remember at the end of Taste the Blood of Dracula, he died in a church.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, he is actually in a castle in Transylvania, and this huge bat shows up and drops some blood on him and resurrects him. So he's in his castle in Romania. So I'm going to say in my world that, there probably was a couple other Dracula stories going on, and somehow he ended up back in Transylvania. To me, it fits this as a sequel just as well as anything.
Yeah.
So we, the townspeople decide they want to kill Dracula again, and his servant Clove, they go up to the castle and they set it on fire. But Clove tells them, you won't be able to reach the top of the castle. The master's at the top. So sure enough, for whatever reason, they burned part of the castle, but it doesn't get Dracula. They return back to town to find that all of the women have been killed very gruesomely and bloody by
In the
Dracula's
church.
bats.
In the church.
In the church. So Dracula is not effing around in this movie. This is a brutal Dracula. It's a very gory movie, and it's a very violent movie. It reminds me a lot of Dracula Prince of Darkness. Same vein.
Yeah.
So all of the townspeople, they're kind of like, what the hell? He just killed everybody. So he's not dead. Clove and the bats and Dracula live on in the burnt castle, which doesn't even look like it's burnt. So I didn't understand that story plot. It's sort of confusing to me.
Yeah, and when the townspeople were leaving down the mountain from the castle, they looked behind them and it showed the flames like way over the top of the castle and everything.
Yeah. Once we get inside the castle, it looks like it's in perfect shape. So
yeah, exactly.
that was a weird storyline that, again, maybe they had to rewrite some of this to fit Christopher Lee back in. I'm not sure. But after that, we go to this, I don't know what the protagonist is, I guess. I don't know what this guy's role is. He's sort of a gigolo, I guess. He's going around screwing every woman he can find, and he's on the run and makes it to the village, and they're like, "You can't stay here." He kisses the inntaker, the daughter, And Intaker runs him off and says, you go stay in the castle. So this idiot makes him to Castle Dracula and meets the Count himself, and he is greeted and welcome.
Yeah.
Dracula tells him, well, before they burned the castle, we used to receive many guests here. And thus, the scars of Dracula. This doofus is at the castle with one of Dracula's vampire slaves, and it goes downhill from there.
Yep. Gets
for him.
really bloody.
It's a very bloody movie.
Yes, it is.
There's a lot more sex and nudity in this one than we've seen before too. But it is 1970, and they were trying to keep up. And Hammer was already putting out the Vampire Lovers, Twins of Evil, and all of those movies.
Yeah, it was the height of the sexual revolution in 1970.
So Hammer follows along.
Yeah.
Nothing too gratuitous. It was just definitely more than we've seen before in a Dracula movie.
Well, I was reading in the trivia, a couple of the women wouldn't refuse to be naked in the movie, and I think only one of the girls, the only thing you seen was her butt. That was the one. That was at the very beginning.
I think our antagonist is I don't know what he was. Paul was his name. Yeah, that was one of his triumphs, I guess you might want to call it.
Yeah. All right, let's go over the cast here.
Let's do it.
First off, we got Christopher Lee as Count Dracula, of course. Dennis Waterman as Simon Carlson.
Now, he's actually the good guy in this movie. He's sort of the Van Helsing of it. He's the brother of Paul the Gigolo.
Yeah.
And he goes looking for his missing brother.
Yeah.
And pretty good role. He does a good job in it.
Yeah. They said a lot of people were saying that he could have got a way better role than this, and that maybe he should have played Dracula himself. And I was like, nah, I don't know about that.
Well, if Christopher Lee hadn't came back, who knows,
I think I've got some trivia on that, who was gonna play him too. All right, next we got Jenny Hanley as Sarah Framson.
She was Simon's fiance.
Yep. Christopher Matthews as Paul Carlson, the gigolo guy.
The gigolo guy that gets captured by Dracula.
Patrick Troughton as Clove.
And we've had Cloves in Dracula movies before. I don't know if it's the same character or not. But the guy who plays Clove would go on to be Doctor Who.
That's another thing about the production, too, is the Clove. I'll get into that here after a little bit.
Okay.
Anuska Hempel as Tanya. Michael Ripper as the landlord. Michael Gwynn as the priest, and he was a weird looking dude.
Yeah, he was.
He had some big ass ears, man. He could have flew the fuck away with them ears. Delia Lindsay as Alice. Bob Todd as the Burgermaster. Any relation?
I don't think so.
And you got an Uncle Bob?
No Bobs. But my family origin from Scotland, so it could be.
Okay. And last but not least, we got Toke Townley as the elderly wagoneer.
And I forgot about that role.
And that's the cast of Scars of Dracula.
It's a lot smaller cast than we're used to from a Hammer Dracula.
Yeah.
I think that low budget is showing through at this point.
Exactly.
I'm kind of glad. The last two Warner Brothers movies I thought had too many people in them.
Yeah, I know. Too many speaking roles for sure.
It was.
This was shot on location in Hertfordshire and made at Elstree Studios, Borehamwood, Hertfordshire, England. And let's see here. Already went over the release. You got anything on the home media?
Oh, you want to get into that now? Okay,
Yeah, I guess we can get into that.
The Anchor Bay had released this on DVD back in the day, and that's probably the first time a lot of people saw it. And it actually came with an extra DVD called The Many Faces of Christopher Lee, and kept that DVD a long time because it didn't look like it was ever going to get a Blu-ray release. Finally, our buddies at the Scream Factory, and they actually put the original artwork on it, which pretty gruesome. I like that green-faced Christopher Lee. Put this out a few years ago. Actually, it's going out of print. So this will be your last chance to pick this up unless somebody else is going to put it out on 4K, which I don't really think. The studio Canon folks had done a remix of this movie a few years ago, and it's their version of it. Oddly, it comes in two ratio aspects, 1.66 and 1.85. I can't tell any difference in either one. I've watched them both. There is an audio commentary by a film historian, Konstantin Narsar. Don't know who he is. And there's also a commentary that featured Christopher Lee and the director, Roy Ward Baker. And it was I've listened to some of it. It's pretty interesting. Christopher Lee is so fun to listen to on these things. They actually did a featurette on this as well, a brand new one called Blood Rites Inside the Scars of Dracula. And the lady that plays the fiance of what was his name? Not Paul, the other brother, Simon. She's in it, and she talks a little bit about it. And I'm gonna tell you what, this is a really good release. It's not remastered in any kind of 2K or anything, but it looks damn good. It looks better than the Blu-ray by far. It's cheap right now on Scream Factory, so I don't know what the future. There's a bunch of the Hammer films that Scream got last. They was like the last ones they put out, and all of them are going out of print. So somebody else might have picked up the rights, or I don't know. But I recommend this Blu-ray 100%.
Okay.
Once again, the Scream Factory comes through with and it's not even a special edition. It's a really good edition, though. Even has a cool inside. Look at that.
Ooh.
They put so much work into their stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
know, man.
really amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing against the other studios, but Scream Factory always goes full force. That's that.
Oh. This didn't get very good reception when it came out.
It did not get good reception, and like I said, I have not seen this one like the others. I've seen the others hundreds of times. And this one, I always felt like I said, I always call it the Lost Dracula movie. And I always thought, I don't like this movie. But when I watched it this time, I looked at it through different eyes. And I think it's better than it should be. It's better than it should be as far as the memory. I think a lot of people just sort of go off the reviews and forget about it.
Yeah, yeah. But not too many people liked it, like the Los Angeles Times and New York Times. They said it was too gory.
That's what they're griping about.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I found it
gory and the sexual. Los Angeles Times says simply revs up one of the most familiar Dracula plots with sex and violence. Well, everybody was doing them kind of movies in 1970.
Well, I think a lot of people, since Taste the Blood of Dracula came out the exact same year, I don't know what made them put this out so quick. But again, I think it was supposed to be a reboot with the Frankenstein movie, and that's probably what they were looking at, because I know the Vampire Lovers came out the same year as well, and that was definitely pushing the whole erotica vampire / lesbian vampire thing. So I think that's why it got out so quick, because they were going to go in a different direction.
We might have to review that one too. We'll put it on the. We'll put it at the end of the list.
We'll do every vampire movie that exists before we're done.
Oh shit! All right. I guess there ain't really much trivia, so
No, like I said, this is sort of a under the radar movie. Unless you're a big Hammer fan.
yeah. Isn't there a book like a guide to all the Hammer films? Isn't there a
Yeah, it's
book?
right sitting over here. I could pull it out if you want me to.
Yeah, well, you don't have to.
It doesn't say anything we don't already know. I know more than the book
I
on
think you
most
had
of
it out
these.
last time, didn't you?
We did, and it didn't tell us anything. We were looking for something on the last movie, and we couldn't find it.
Yeah. During an interview, Christopher Lee expressed his well-known frustration with this film. Well, why did he come back then? I don't understand that.
And he had the most speaking role that he ever had in any Dracula movie, maybe even the first one.
He quote says, "I was a pantomime villain. Everything was over the top, especially the giant bat, whose electrically motored wings flapped with slow deliberation as if it were doing morning exercises."
He didn't talk bad about it in the commentary. I don't know. I think Christopher Lee just liked to complain
Talk
about.
shit
Yeah,
if he didn't get enough money or
I
something.
think he was no. I think he was a perfectionist, and if it wasn't perfect, he wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, the giant bat gets a lot of the people slam on it. That's one of the things people like to point at and say, "Look how stupid this movie is." The special effects people had done, I think, went on to do Alien. They did a lot of movies, and it was the budget restraints. It wasn't really the
Yeah.
special effects people. It just there wasn't a lot of budget for this thing. And I don't have a problem with the bat.
I don't either. I thought it was a pretty good bat for 1970, actually.
Agreed. It looks better than the rubber bats they'd used before.
Yeah.
I thought the special effects were good in this movie for what they did.
Exactly. So did I. With the bite marks from the bat and all that stuff, it was pretty cool.
Better fangs, better
Yeah.
contact lenses. Christopher Lee can actually see in these, that said. Some of the others, he couldn't see anything. So I think there were a lot better special effects, and it looks a lot more modern for
They were
for a Hammer Dracula.
They were the total black ones too.
Yeah,
They must have perfected them.
I think they did. They'd finally got it down after all that time.
Roy Ward Baker said he didn't want the Dennis Waterman to play that part as what's his name?
Simon?
Simon, yeah. But Hammer Productions, the production company, made him use him.
Well, that's another critical complaint about the movie is that there really isn't a Van Helsing character, that this kid just shows up to save his brother, and the priest trains him for like 5 minutes, and he goes and fights Dracula. I don't know. Had they got Peter Cushing back, would it have been better? Probably, but Van Helsing hadn't been seen in 4 movies at this point.
Yeah.
So that's another big. This guy, I don't know. I thought he did a fine role, but a lot of people didn't seem to like him in the movie.
No. All right, this is Michael Ripper's third consecutive appearance in a Hammer Dracula film, given that he previously played Max in Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, Inspector Cobb in Taste the Blood of Dracula. He's the only actor other than Christopher Lee to appear in all 3 films. He also played a coachman in The Brides of Dracula in 1960, in which Lee did not appear.
Yeah, so he's a veteran of the Draculas at this stage.
We've basically talked about this already. One of 4 films in 1970, which Christopher Lee played Count Dracula. The others are Count Dracula, 1970. One More Time. What's that?
Never heard of it.
And Taste the Blood of Dracula. Let's see. Let's look and see what this One More Time is.
I don't know. It seems like some bullshit
Oh,
to me.
oh no. It's like a comedy.
There was a lot of comedies
The
that.
Hammer comedy film, and it's got
How did he play Dracula in a Hammer comedy?
it's not, he's not playing Dracula.
Oh, I thought he said he played Dracula in 4 films. I
No,
misheard.
no. It was directed by Jerry Lewis. Sammy Davis Jr. is in it. This ain't a Hammer film. This ain't
So
a
they
Hammer.
lied. They flat lied to you. Say, I never. Jerry Lewis never made no Hammer film.
That's funny.
False news. So it is only 3. Where'd you go, Brett? You're not.
I'm
talking.
here. I'm reading something. I'm sorry.
You had dead silence. We haven't had dead silence since Beth was last on. Remember that awkward moment?
Oh, it does say that he does play Dracula in that movie. Just like not a very big part though.
Like a cameo.
Yeah, and it is a Hammer film.
Wow. We're gonna act like we
I didn't know Hammer produced like comedy stuff.
They produced everything. You ever seen any of their prehistoric cave women movies?
Oh yeah. With the stop motion animation and shit.
Yes. Those were big around this time too.
Let's see. Jenny Hanley was dubbed by Nikki Van Der Zil.
She was dubbed, yes. I forgot to mention that. Her and
But
nobody
she
knows
claimed
why.
she wasn't. She claimed she wasn't. So
I don't know why they would have dubbed her, but who knows? Maybe she wasn't. She says she wasn't. I say she was. What do I know?
All right. Okay, this guy, John Forbes Robertson, was considered for the role of Dracula before Christopher Lee was persuaded to return. How did they persuade him? Money?
They didn't. He loved playing Dracula.
Oh, this guy later played Dracula in The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
Oh, that guy, yeah. That's the one where Christopher Lee did refuse to come back for.
And that is the only other Hammer film to feature an actor other than Lee in the role.
Yes, since Brides of Dracula had the Baron guy in it.
Yeah. This was Toke Townley's final film before his death in 1984 at the age of 71. Well, he had a good run in the Dracula.
He did.
Dracula's resurrection at the beginning of the film is the same footage as Dracula's death in Taste the Blood for Dracula, just played in reverse. So
Okay.
that was an easy scene. Just add the bat dripping some blood and reverse her on up. Peter Cushing was asked to appear in this movie. However, due to conflicting schedules, he reluctantly declined the major role written for him. He was able, though, to carry out a dare set by good friend Christopher Lee due to a holdup in production and filming of Scream and Scream Again. You ever seen that?
I have.
Peter Cushing was able to spend a day on set filming a brief cameo as a milkmaid for the opening village inn scene. I didn't
Never
even
saw
notice.
it before.
Huh?
Never noticed that before.
Me neither. I'll have to look for it next time I watch it. Anushka Hempel had to be dubbed due to her broad Australian accent. Oh, Aruska. Australian actress Aruska Hempel angered makeup meister Roy Ashton when she arrived on set one day, fresh from being on holiday in Barbados with a deep tan.
God, I bet
When
that would
she
have
was,
made a big mess.
yeah, when she was supposed to be the, milky white.
The milky white vampire, yeah.
Yeah. So on the beach. Oh, let's see here. Jenny Hanley said her costume had to be hugely cantilevered to create impressive cleavage because she had small breasts.
Oh no.
I thought it looked like all the girls had big breasts in this. I don't care what you say. Evidently, they had to stuff her up. Anuska Hempel and Jenny Hanley had appeared in the James Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Their characters were named the Australian Girl and the Irish Girl. Oh, you ever see that? You don't like the Bond films, do you?
I'm not a big fan of the Bonds.
Dennis Waterman appeared as a child actor in the Hammer film The Pirates of Blood River, also starring Christopher Lee.
That's a good movie. A really good movie.
Is it a pirate movie?
Of course, it's called Pirates of Blood River. What do you expect it to be? A swashbuckler movie? Yes.
Is Christopher Lee a swashbuckler?
We'll just have to watch it and see. I realize who he lost in the studio redo. I lost my rubber bat.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to rehang him somehow.
hang him there in that black spot
I couldn't I?
next to
Yeah,
the.
we got to bring
next-
the
next to the
vampire bat
bride.
back. He's missed. He was hard to see on the show anyway because he had stuff hanging from him, but he's coming back. That's who I was missing. Damn it! You've been talking about bats all night, and I forgot about my bat. Damn it! Anyway, back to.
All right, Jenny Hanley refused to perform nude scenes, but did a pose for a publicity photos in a thin nightgown that revealed her pubic hair.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
We can't have that.
Can't
No,
have
no.
Can't have the old pubes.
No.
She also said that she hated working with the big fake-looking puppet bat.
Everybody hating on the damn bat.
And its two handlers were very distracting. They were a gay couple, one handling the head and the other dealing with the wings. And as they were wrangling the thing for the final attack on Hanley's character, they suddenly kissed, causing her to burst into fits of laughter.
That's
She
sort of
then-
funny. I would have laughed too.
She then turned to find Christopher Lee behind her in full Dracula regal.
Wouldn't that be scary to see him in full Dracula regal?
Yeah, no shit. And he says to her, "You do realize Count Vlad was real." Before sweeping from the set, Hanley said he took the character very seriously, and her laughter must have upset him.
Yeah, that he went around telling everybody Dracula is real. Y'all need to take this more serious. I'm not doing a Christopher Lee voice. But yeah, he did take the Dracula character very, very seriously. I think that's why in some of them he just refused to perform. You know, he thought that the dialect was so terrible. This was better, and there's a lot of Bram Stoker stuff in this where he's actually climbing up a wall. So
Yeah, I seen that.
yeah. This has a lot more of the Bram Stoker Dracula in it than we've seen since the first movie.
Yeah. All right. Even though it said that the Roy Ward Baker didn't want the Dennis Waterman to be in the movie, he'd later end up directing several episodes of the guy's crime comedy series, Minder. So
I don't know.
I
I thought the guy did a fine role for
I
what
thought
it
he
was.
did too.
I mean, somebody had to be the good guy.
Yeah.
Since our antagonist, this was a gigolo, his brother.
Well, isn't actually Dracula the antagonist?
Well, sort of. I call it the opposite because to me, Dracula is the hero, Brett. Don't you get it?
I know.
Dracula is my hero.
And that's about all I got for trivia there.
That's a pretty good line of trivia for a semi-obscure movie.
Not
You did
much,
good.
but enough.
You did good. I guess that's going to lead us to the ranking or the rating.
Okay. You
You
go
want me to go
first.
first or you?
You go first since you ain't been here.
I ain't been here. I was here more than you. Like I said, always sort of forget this movie, and I think I read all the reviews and say, "Oh, that's the sorry movie." I disagree. I think out of the Hammers Draculas we have so far, I'm putting this at number 3. As y'all all know, I'm a very big fan of Prince of Darkness, and I actually think it's a little bit better than the first movie. This is by far a good sequel to Dracula Prince of Darkness, and it's so much better than Taste the Blood of Dracula and Dracula's Risen from the Grave by a million. The lesser budget doesn't bother me. I just look past those things. I enjoy this movie, and I will never, ever condemn it again just because other people don't like it. It's a damn good Dracula movie, and it fits better than the other two, the two Warner Brother movies. Those seem like they just don't really have a role in anything. I'm calling this the true sequel to Prince of Darkness, and I'm giving this movie a 4, a solid 4. I'm giving the score a 4.5 because it's a good score. I wish I could find it on Apple Music. I did find some of the songs. I thought that the main theme is right up there with the originals. So I like this movie. I thought the acting was good in it. And Christopher Lee is phenomenal. This might be his best role we've seen so far as Dracula, in my opinion. He does a phenomenal freaking job. It's very Bram Stoker-like.
Okay.
I can't think of much to really condemn on it. I don't even know. I'm just going to give it a 4. I could give it a little bit higher if I needed to, but and our rankings right now, I rank this number 3, just above Brides of Dracula.
Okay.
Which is number 4.
All right.
Now your turn.
Okay. I finally watched this today the whole way through.
I know he kept going to sleep in it.
I always fall asleep, man.
I do too anymore. I think it's an over 50 thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't get a nap during the day because I work. So
Yeah, I fell asleep watching a wrestling show last night that I've been wanting to watch for a week. Documentary.
there's
So,
no time for naps, man. No time for naps.
No time for naps. So you finally watched it from start to finish.
Yep. And I actually love this movie.
I know it's good, ain't it?
The special effects were, for the time and for the budget they had.
They were good, man.
Yeah, they did a good job. Christopher Lee was outstanding. He actually had a pretty decent
I think it's his
speaking
best role
for sure. And yeah, all the chicks were hot again.
It's definitely better than the last two by far.
The only thing I have to disagree with is about the score. I wasn't very happy with the score. It just sounded the same as the one before that.
I'm not going to say it's excellent, but it's so much better than the last two that it gets high reviews for me just for that.
Okay.
If you compared it to Dracula Prince of Darkness, it's definitely not as strong, but James Bernard does a good job, I think, my opinion.
Oh, he always does. But
yeah. Man, I think it's more that it's not as hidden in the background as the last two movies.
Yeah, it's more you can tell it more. And like I said, the bat, when every time the bat would flap his wings, the music would match the flap of the bat.
They matched it up.
Yeah. So
I'm
gonna give it a 4 too, man. This is probably my second favorite one. Now.
Yeah.
It's probably my number 2 so far. So
Well, you know what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to order this Blu-ray before it goes
Yeah,
out of print, man.
yeah, no.
I don't have an extra one of these for you.
I thought
I-
you had me on one. Had it on. I was looking for the compilation one.
No, this isn't on any compilations.
Oh, it's not okay.
No,
Then I don't have it. Then I thought I did, but evidently I don't. If you didn't give it to me, I ain't got it.
unless I had like an extra copy, like on DVD, I gave to you.
That may be too. I'll have to search it. I ain't got no covers on none of them cases that I put them in. So,
Yeah, it might have been one of the standalones.
but yeah, I'm giving it a 4, man. I like
I
this
agree.
movie.
Um, when we started this, I said that the movies get worse as they go along. Well, this is a case where they get back better again, if that's a word. Strong movie. Definitely recommend this. If you're a Dracula fan or a Christopher Lee fan or even a Hammer fan, you definitely need to see this movie. Not as known as the others, but it's definitely worth a watch. So give it a look. I recommend 2 thumbs up.
I remember seeing this before when I was
It's not, I say it's
younger.
obscure. It just wasn't on it wasn't as distributed as well as the Warner Brother movies. And we're going back to Warner Brothers for the next 2, which will be in the modern day. The 71, whatever it's 72, whatever the hell it is. But we're going with this
Dracula AD.
what's his name? Franco, Count Dracula next.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually came out before this movie by a few months, but that's our next review.
Yeah,
And that one, I've got a 4K that's got 3 extra discs on it, so I got a lot of watching to do.
Ooh. All right. Well, I guess that's all we got for Scars of Dracula. Anything else you want to add, Carl?
Nope, just thanks for all the help on the haunted house to you and Scarlett, darling. And you need to pay her $7, or she said that she's gonna give you one of these and one of those next time she sees you.
I sent that video to Juliet that I took and posted on Facebook. And she's watched it like 100 times since she
no.
got it. And that's why I was late coming on, because I was on FaceTime with her.
FaceTime with her. That's
had
funny.
had to listen to her call me dummy for 10 minutes and laugh at me. So and the last thing she said is, "I love you, dummy." So
you and Scarlett have a fun little banter between the two of you.
Yeah, I give her a hard time just like I do anybody else. So
yeah, you were like, "Why you ain't got no shoes on?" She didn't like that either. But you know, when she made her flyers, she put on there to enter the haunted house, you have to wear shoes and a costume. So you got through to her at least. She said she's the number 3 manager now.
Well, she don't need to be walking back there with all them sticks and stuff with no damn shoes on. One will go through her damn foot, and then where are we gonna be? You know, she needs to wear needs some. So I told her about being up on that table too. I said, "You're gonna fall off there, and you're gonna be hurting. Get down."
Anyway, we did a good job on the haunt, so we'll start updating everybody on that. I actually posted a few pictures on the Count Karabi page. The doll room looked really creepy tonight.
Yeah, it did. All right.
So, www.countkarabi.com for the haunted house, everybody. That'll take you to our Facebook group for Count Karabi's Haunted Museum.
And if you're in DFW and want to come help us,
we need actors.
Haunt, then yeah, we need
front staff too to run the front.
Yeah.
We'll pay in alcohol or pizza. Yep. Maybe even money if you got experience.
Yeah.
Or all credits. Right. Halloween the cat will pay you. She's the number 2 assistant manager, according to Scarlett. She said the number 1 assistant manager passes out water, and that's you.
I'm the water passer outer.
That's what she said.
Oh shit. She's
okay. Funny. Well, it's ended up for the evening.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, listening. Check us out on all the social medias. Hit that like and subscribe. And I don't know what I'm doing for midweek yet. I usually don't know till day of I'm going to do it. So
I didn't even listen to the midweek this week because I couldn't even pronounce the band you did.
Crypta?
Never heard of Crypta.
Oh, they're awesome, dude.
I'm sure they have that font. When I see that font, I immediately don't listen. It's that death metal font.
Yeah.
All death metal bands have that same fucking font. When I see that, I know immediately it's Cookie Monster time.
She does a good Cookie Monster.
It's a she. That's even worse.
It's an all-female band.
Oh, well. Mm-mm.
I think
I'm
they're good,
sorry.
man.
I had to skip the midweek this week
And
just
they're
because
all-
of the font.
And they're all hot too. So
If she sounds like Cookie Monster, I'm gonna pass.
oh, all right. We'll talk to you later, guys. Stay evil.
Stay evil.
Hunt him. Attack him.
This evil must be destroyed.
Burn it down! Burn down his citadel of evil.
You fools! You think you can destroy my master? The flames will never reach him!
He is evil. He is the embodiment of all that is evil. He is the very devil himself.
Dracula's reign of horror reaches out even further.
Stop!
A winged creature of terror becomes Dracula's most fearsome new ally. Enter Dracula's stronghold at your peril. There is one way into his innermost sanctum.
Hey! Help there! Help me!
You will tell me everything!
Tell me! Oh, he was here. It's true, he was here. Got away.
You must get away too. Now.
One way in and no way out. There is no escape from the all-embracing evil of the humans who do his bidding. From the creature that extends his power, there is no escape, not even for the protected, from the scars of Dracula.
Take her with you. You'll do terrible things to her if you don't. Terrible things.